My son is Brandon, and he was 23 when he passed. Wonderful young man, very active, very social, smiled at everybody no matter what he was dealing with in life. Enjoyed baseball, coaching his little brothers in baseball, dirt bike riding, jet skiing, was in the marching band, but just a great kid. Just loved being around people and making people laugh and loved putting smiles on people's faces. He was 22 when I found out, and so I didn't really see a lot of signs. But when he would come over for dinner, there were a couple things that I noticed. You know, he would fall asleep and like out cold hard, like just in the middle of the living room. And to me, that didn't raise any red flags because I had no idea what I should have been looking for. I just thought, well, you know, he's worked a 12-hour day today. He just must be really tired. I had no clue until he actually came to me and told me that he was struggling with addiction and what he had been going through. And I just was completely dumbfounded. And just, you go through that, how is this happening to my family? How is this happening to my child? Because it's not anything that you as a parent ever think that you will be dealing with or going through. For them to tell you that, Mom, this is literally the devil, and to see that despair in their face and in their eyes when they come to you was really, really hard. He was 23 when he passed. He was living with me at the time, and he got home Sunday evening, and I could tell he didn't seem quite right. I remember before I went to bed that night, and we were in the kitchen and we were talking, and he was sharing about his weekend, and he said, Mom, did you miss me? And the last thing I said to him was, I always miss my children. When I got up to go downstairs to make sure that he was up and getting ready to go to treatment, and I saw that the basement light was on, the door was open, and I thought, oh wow, he's already up. This is great. So I went downstairs and I heard the TV, and I was like, oh, Brandon, are you awake? And by the time I got to the bottom of the stairs and looked to my left in the bathroom, he was lying on the floor. And he was so cold. And I knew that there was nothing I could do. It was too late. This was 6 years ago when my son Brandon came to me with the addiction, and there, of course, for me, there was a lot of stigma. Didn't hear a lot about heroin and addiction, and so I was kind of in that category until it touched my own family and my own child, thinking like, oh wow, that's not going to happen to us, or you know, it wasn't a thought even in my mind, because I didn't know anybody. I hadn't heard much about it. I didn't tell my family. So I didn't really have a lot of support, because I was in shock, and I was scared, and I didn't know what to do, and I was afraid that people were going to judge him. So I kind of kept it a little isolated. At Brandon's funeral, I cannot tell you how many people came up to me and said, I am so sorry for your son's passing. And by the way, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt, my brother had a coworker whose niece who had passed from an overdose. So, you know, it's people talking and being open to helping one another. We're all here to make a difference and to fill a purpose and to help others. And the more we talk about it, the more you realize there's a lot of people out there, and they don't have people to talk to. But then when they find out that you've been touched by it, then they can kind of relax a little bit and say, oh my gosh, can I share my story?